Welcome to today's adventure. Today we're going to take this old diesel locomotive, which is older than me, and the carriages behind me, which are about 50 years old, all the way from Taitung to Fangliao in Pingtung County. This train service is special because it's the only remaining ordinary train service left in Taiwan, and soon it's going to be cancelled.
We recorded this video over several months, so if you see me change my t-shirt halfway through, you know why.
So about 10 or 15 years ago, when I first came to Taiwan, these trains were in regular service all over the island. But as the modernization of the railways has been implemented, these train services have become fewer and fewer, until now we have this last remaining service, which is due to be closed or cancelled in about 2 weeks' time.
The ordinary train is retro in design. The carriages haven't changed since their introduction half a century ago, and they still maintain their classic dark blue livery. The blue carriages are usually pulled by a bright orange diesel engine.
One of the beauties of this train is that the guards leave the doors open so you can get right up to the ends of the train. Like this one behind me, you can get right up to the engine, which is pretty cool, I think. And the doors open on each side of the carriage manually, so you can just open the doors as the train is going along. Now, you shouldn't really do that, but in the old days, it was, you know, you could just leave the doors open, it was no problem. Today, with concerns of safety and all the modern new safety features trains have, it's kind of frowned upon. So it's nice to be able to go back in history a little bit and ride this train and see what it's like to ride the old trains through the Taiwanese countryside. And this is what I was saying earlier. Behind me, you've got the view of the track. An immense feeling of freedom. Really a magical, unique experience. And this is probably the last time I'm going to be able to do this.
By the time you watch this video, modernization and the electrification of the Southlink line has seen the demise of the last remaining ordinary train.
As again, these trains have been withdrawn from service.
For the railway enthusiasts, the orange locomotive is an EMD G22, manufactured in 1969 and delivered in 1970. The blue locomotive, famous in Taiwan and often used for special occasions, is registered as R40. It was manufactured in February 1961. The total length of the track is 138 kilometers long, and it consists of mostly single-line track. A whopping 40 kilometers of the line is made up of 35 tunnels.
This tunnel is actually man-made, and it's a bunker for trains to run through. Now, the reason they built this bunker is because the Navy used to bombard this mountainside here for target practice. And sometimes, well, They were worried that the shells might fall short and damage the track. So this bunker actually protects the track from naval bombardment.
Having only operated for 30 or so years, 2 stations serving smaller communities are already abandoned.
This abandoned station is just north of Taimali station, and although it's abandoned, it still holds a signal station here for the railway. Now the Southern Link is only single track for most of the way, so that makes adding new services to cater for passenger demand a little bit difficult. Trains have to pass in specific places, so that makes the timetable very, very limited. Now what we're seeing now is the electrification of this line and more double track areas, so trains can pass more readily. This will allow faster trains like the Piyuma and the Taraco to access this track and provide speedier passenger services from Taitung to Pingtung and Kaohsiung. Now, I'm not really a railway buff, but I do like history, and these trains are part of the history that built up Taiwan.
Yeah, hello. Hello.
Yeah, these trains are pretty much the fabric which built the backbone of Taiwan. And they're soon to be replaced by all the modern trains that you see, the modern commuter trains, which will replace this train. Some of the older commuter trains have just arrived in Taiwan. So we're going to see an end to the magic of the old historical railways, which part of the service is still of Taiwan, but they're diminishing very, very quickly. Soon this will be a site which will be consigned to the history books, really. So this is why we're doing this little mini documentary to show you what it's like to ride on one of these old ordinary trains, and the only remaining ordinary train left in all of Taiwan. And this is one of the oldest carriages on the Taiwan railway system, still in public use today. You can see the old double doors here. There's no air conditioning, there's the old handrails. It's a really, really old carriage. It's about 40, 50 years old. The last time these windows were replaced was 1991. It's a really old train.
Riding on this old train is like riding back to a former era. There is no air conditioning. Instead, you are free to open the windows, and extra air circulation is provided by the old ceiling fans. When there are few passengers, which is almost always the case, the guard will leave the doors open. There are few experiences like sitting next to an open window or door on a moving train, where you can smell the trees, flowers, see air, and even people's cooking as you whiz along the coast and through tiny villages.
So here we are, one of the last scheduled services this train will ever make between Fangliao and Taitung and back. And it's packed today, there's so many people on this train. And normally that isn't the case. Usually it's empty, there's no ridership at all. And it's a shame it's taken such a long time for the people of Taiwan to come out, as they have today, and appreciate the magic and joy this train can bring to people. This old, 50-year-old train, clattering, riding through the countryside and the dramatic landscapes here. It's actually quite interesting to see some of the makeup of the passengers here. Of course, there's a lot of older people who are reliving their experiences of their former years when they used to take this train and when this train was common all around Taiwan. But there's also quite a few train enthusiasts and younger people here. It's actually quite a nice day out for the whole family. Of course, some of the younger people on this train are trying to get the experience of riding on one of these older trains, because in the future, with the advent of modern rail passenger services, they're not going to have a chance to take these trains in the future. Despite them withdrawing this service from the TRA timetable, this is still a great railway trip to take. You can take a regular passenger service from Taitung to Fangliao, and the view is just fantastic. If you look behind me, you can see the ocean and the green mountains. And although it's a regular train with automatic doors and you can't really get close to the nature and close to the reality outside, it's still a nice railway journey.
So, while it's true that Taiwan's last ordinary train service has now come to an end, the locomotives that you've seen in the video will continue on to provide passenger and freight services around the island, hopefully for some years to come. Some of the blue passenger coaches that you've seen will also continue to provide charter and tourist trains around the island, while a few will become museum pieces and be fully restored. It is, however, unfortunate that some of them will be scrapped. I am, however, happy that part of Taiwan's incredible railway history will be preserved long into the future for others to enjoy.
So like I said earlier, if you want to come, you can still take a train on this line, but it's not going to be like this one. By the time this video's out, this train will be discontinued, obsolete. We're just heading into Fangliao now, which is the final station of this journey. And what a wonderful journey it's been. We've come through the mountains, through all the tunnels along the coast, from Taitung to Pingtung County, on this old blue train which is thrown back to yesteryear. Well, hope you enjoyed the video. That was my very last journey on the old ordinary train, or Pu Kuai Hao, last one remaining in Taiwan. And it's a bit of a sad day because I know it's the end of an era, and to be honest, I know I'll never be able to go on that train again. So I just wish that Taiwan would make a bit more of an effort to preserve its culture, and it wouldn't really cost too much for the TRA to implement a service once in a while, you know, maybe once a week, you know, just for old time's sake, maybe. Of course, the modernisation of the railway has seen an end to the old services. Snazzy new trains, but they're just not the same. So, it's a bit of a sorry heart, really, that I have to close this video. Nevertheless, we had a great day, and we hope you enjoyed the video. So, thanks very much for watching.